ever felt utterly defeated by life's unexpected turns? I mean, really knocked down.
We all have, I think.
Right. Now imagine being at the absolute pinnacle of power. Brilliant mind, trusted advisor, your kids are doing amazing things in government, and then boom,
Yeah.
suddenly stripped of everything.
Reputation ruined, facing exile, even execution. A complete reversal.
What do? What if your answer was, okay, I'm going to sit down here in my prison cell and write a philosophical masterpiece about finding peace when everything's gone wrong?
It sounds almost unbelievable, doesn't it?
It really does. Today, we're taking a deep dive into the incredible story and enduring wisdom of Anicius Manlius Severinus Boethius. He was a 6th century Roman statesman, philosopher, and the author of this amazing work, The Consolation of Philosophy.
And this book, written around 524 AD while he was in prison, wasn't just some forgotten text. It became hugely influential, one of the most popular books in Western Europe for, well, over 1,000 years.
Right.
Yeah. And its core subject, how to find happiness, real meaning, even when you're suffering or deeply disappointed. I mean, that's just as relevant for you listening today as it was back then. It really offers a powerful remedy if you're feeling lost or desolate.
So our mission today is to figure out how Boethius, from rock bottom, basically, built this timeless framework for confronting adversity.
And crucially, what practical lessons can you pull from his journey to navigate your own struggles? Maybe find a deeper sense of well-being?
Exactly. Okay, so let's unpack this. Who was Boethius? He wasn't just anybody.
No, not at all. He was a brilliant scholar, absolutely steeped in Greek and Roman philosophy. He even had this incredibly ambitious project.
Oh, yeah, the translation thing.
Right, to translate and write commentaries on all of Aristotle and Plato's works. He hoped to show they essentially agreed on the big questions. And his work on logic, it literally became the foundation for medieval learning for centuries.
But he wasn't just locked away studying, was he?
That's what's so fascinating. He really believed in that Platonic ideal that wise people should govern. So he threw himself into public service, became consul in 510 AD.
Which is a huge deal.
A very big deal. And later, master of the king's offices, one of the highest posts in the Western Empire. And imagine this. In 522 AD, both his sons became joint consuls.
Wow. I mean, talk about reaching the summit. He truly had it all.
He really did. But then, 523 AD, everything just collapsed. A sudden, brutal reversal of fortune.
He's arrested, and the charges sound pretty serious.
They were 4 major things: desiring the safety of the Senate, which sounds good, but not in that political climate.
What context matters.
Exactly. Hindering an accuser from testifying against the Senate, hoping for Roman liberty through some spurious letters, basically treasonous correspondence.
Okay.
And maybe the strangest one for a scholar? Sacrilege, invoking evil spirits.
Sacrilege, how could that stick?
Well, it's a chilling question, isn't it? The sources suggest that charges like treason are always a risk for independent thinkers under autocratic rule. You stick your neck out, you become a target.
Makes sense. But the magic part.
That was particularly insidious for an intellectual like Boethius. He was a mathematician and astronomer, and those studies back then were easily associated in the public imagination with magic and the probing of forbidden mysteries.
Ah, okay. Guilt by association, kind of.
Pretty much. And tragically, he was condemned by the very Senate he'd tried to protect, stripped of everything, thrown into prison.
Just imagine the despair, sitting there alone thinking it's all over. And then he gets a visitor.
A very unusual visitor. A majestic, awe-inspiring woman appears. This isn't just anyone, it's Lady Philosophy herself.
Describe her. What does she look like?
Well, the text says she had a majestic countenance, flashing eyes. Her height apparently shifted, sometimes normal human size, sometimes so tall her head touched the heavens. And her robe, it was woven from the finest threads, but intricately embroidered with Greek letters. A pi for theoria, or theoretical wisdom, and a theta for praxis, practical wisdom.
So theory and practice combined.
Exactly. But here's a key detail. That beautiful robe was torn in places, torn by the hands of violent men, symbolizing how her wisdom is often attacked or misused in the world.
Powerful image. And she doesn't waste time, does she?
Not at all. She immediately confronts the muses of poetry who were there trying to offer Boethius some, well, emotional comfort.
And she calls them
Whores from the theater.
ouch.
Yeah, pretty strong language. She says they offer sweet poison, and their emotional appeals actually kill the fruitful harvest of reason. She sees Boethius's despair not as justified grief, but as a kind of sickness, a lethargy, a common illness of deceived minds. Essentially, she tells him he's forgotten himself a little.
Wow. So kick out the poets, bring in the logic.
That's the idea. Once the muses are gone, philosophy gets down to business. And this is where it gets really interesting, especially if you've ever grappled with disappointment or loss.
Okay, I'm listening.
She directly challenges his complaints about losing his fortune, his status, wealth, everything. And she argues something totally counterintuitive.
Which is?
Adverse fortune is more beneficial to men than prosperous fortune.
Wait, bad luck is better than good luck. How does that work?
It's a really profound reevaluation. Her point is that good fortune, prosperity, it actually deceives us. It can enslave the minds of good men with the beauty of specious goods. It makes us chase illusions.
Okay.
But adverse fortune, hardship, loss, it does the opposite. It frees them by making them see the fragile nature of happiness. It wakes you up to reality, however harsh.
So losing everything actually sets you free, in a way.
That's her startling claim. She says, no man can ever be secure until he has been forsaken by fortune. Only when it's all gone do you truly understand what fortune is. Changeable, inherently unstable, like the tides of the Euripus Strait, she says, always shifting, unpredictable.
So when things go wrong, fortune isn't betraying you. She's just being herself.
Exactly, that's her nature. The text mentions King Croesus, ridiculously wealthy, almost burned alive. King Perses, powerful, captured in war. Philosophy's point is, look, if you chase fortune's gifts, if you chain yourself to her, you have to accept her terms. Her terms are constant change.
And trying to stop her wheel from turning.
His like trying to stop the tide. You'd be the most foolish man alive.
That really makes you think, doesn't it?
Yeah.
How much of our own stress and anxiety comes from expecting permanence, from things that are just not permanent.
Precisely. Philosophy drives this home. Happiness is never completely achieved and never permanently kept. Even the good times, the joy of human happiness is shot through with bitterness. There's always that underlying fragility.
And she have that killer line.
Oh, it's so good. Nothing is miserable unless you think it's so. And on the other hand, nothing brings happiness unless you are content with it.
It puts the power right back in your own mind, your own perspective.
Absolutely. Your internal state is key.
Okay, so after tackling fortune, philosophy then goes through like a checklist of things we normally chase after, right? Riches, power.
Right. She systematically dismantles the common sources of what we mistake for happiness. Riches, honor, power, fame, pleasure. She argues they're not just temporary, they're inherently flawed. They can't deliver what they promise.
Let's take riches. What's her beef with money?
Well, she points at the irony. Riches are supposed to make you self-sufficient, but don't they actually make you more dependent on guards, on banks, on others to manage it?
Good point.
And avarice is never satisfied. There's always more to want. She even says, no man can be rich who cries fearfully and considers himself to be poor. If you live in fear of losing it, are you truly rich?
What about the stuff money buys? The nice clothes, the jewels?
She asks, is the beauty in the thing itself or in the fact that you possess it? A jewel is beautiful whether you own it or not. By valuing these external things, this lifeless bric-a-brac above your own inner worth, your rational soul made in God's likeness, you actually lower your own dignity.
Wow. That's quite the take. Okay, what about power? People definitely chase that.
Oh, yeah. Philosophy uses Emperor Nero as an example. Ruled vast territories, incredible power.
Though was apparently a terrible person.
Exactly. His great power could not subdue the madness of this depraved man. Power without virtue is dangerous, and she also brings it down to earth. What is weaker than a man who can be killed by the bites of insects? It highlights our fundamental vulnerability no matter how much political power we wield.
And there's that story about the guy who bites his own tongue off.
Right. The tyrant trying to force secrets out of a free man who bites off his own tongue rather than to betray his friends. The point is that true power, the power over your own soul, your integrity that's internal, you can never impose upon a free spirit. External force can't touch that inner core.
Okay, power's flawed. What about fame? Being well-known, admired.
She dismisses it as trivial and empty. It's limited by geography. Most people in the world won't know you. It's limited by time. Future generations might forget you entirely.
And she tells that funny story about the philosopher.
Oh, that's great. This guy claims to be a philosopher, endures a load of insults silently. Then someone asks, okay, now do you think I believe you're a philosopher? And he puffs up and says, yes, now you do.
Oh.
And the other guy just laughs and says, I would have thought so if you had kept silent. The moment he needed that external validation, he showed he wasn't the real deal. True virtue doesn't need applause.
Makes sense. And nobility, like being born into a famous family.
Not about status, she says. It's a necessity imposed on the noble to carry on the virtues of their ancestors, meaning you have to earn it through your own virtuous actions. After all, she argues, all men come from noble origin, from God, the one Father. So real nobility is living up to that divine spark within you.
Okay, last one. Pleasure. Bodily pleasures.
Fleeting, she argues, often full of worry beforehand and fulfillment full of remorse afterward. Think hangovers, regrets.
Been there.
Haven't we all? She even quotes the playwright Euripides saying something quite shocking. The childless man is happy by his misfortune.
Whoa, why?
To highlight that even things we cherish, like family, can become sources of terrible sorrow through loss or worry. It shows the inherent vulnerability in attaching our happiness too strongly to anything external, even good things.
So the conclusion for all these worldly goods.
They're limited goods. They cannot achieve what they promise, lasting, stable happiness, and therefore they are not man's path to happiness.
Right. So if riches, power, fame, pleasure, if none of those are the answer, where do we look? What's left after philosophy has torn down all the usual suspects?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And philosophy promises she can lead Boethius and us to true happiness and the supreme good.
Okay, how? What is this supreme good?
Her argument is quite elegant, actually. It's philosophical, but bear with me. She says, we perceive imperfection all around us, right? Things fall short, they decay, they're flawed.
Sure, nothing's perfect.
But the very fact we can recognize imperfection implies we have some conception, however vague, of perfection. There must be a standard. And since God, by definition in this Neoplatonic framework, is perfect goodness, lacking no good quality, then he must be that supreme good, the ultimate standard, and therefore he must also be the source of perfect happiness.
So God equals the highest good equals true happiness.
Essentially, yes. And then she says something really interesting. Men become happy by acquiring divinity.
Well, hang on. Become gods.
Not literally. It means becoming gods by participation, by aligning ourselves with, striving towards, and embodying that perfect goodness, wisdom, justice, love, self-sufficiency, all those things we participate in the divine nature. We draw closer to the source of happiness by becoming more like it.
Ah, okay. It's about internal transformation, reflecting that goodness.
Exactly, she simplifies it. All those things we chase separately, sufficiency, power, fame, reverence, and joy. They seem different, but in their perfect form, in God, they are different in name and substance. All are one and the same.
But we breaks them up.
Human error, she says. We shatter that unity and chase the fragments, thinking this piece or that piece will make us whole. But true happiness is possessing the unified, complete good.
And she links this to existence itself.
Yes. Unity is the principle of existence. Think about it. Anything that exists, because it holds together, it maintains its oneness. A body, a society, even an idea. When that unity breaks down, things corrupt, decay, cease to be what they were.
To exist is to strive for unity.
And since the supreme good is perfect unity, then everything deep down desires the good as its ultimate end, its way of preserving its being, whether it consciously knows it or not.
Okay, that's a pretty profound picture. But Boethius is still in prison, right?
Oh.
Suffering unjustly.
Right. And he raises the really tough questions, the ones that still bother us today.
The problem of evil.
Exactly. He asks Lady Philosophy, how can there be evil in a world governed by an omnipotent good? And maybe even more puzzling, why does evil seem to win so often? Why does it go unpunished and trample virtue?
Yeah, that's the kicker. What's her answer? It feels like a huge contradiction.
Her answer is, again, completely unexpected. She states boldly, the good are always powerful and the evil are always weak and futile.
Weak. But they often look pretty powerful.
She argues they don't truly exist in the fullest sense. Evil isn't a thing with power, it's a lack, a privation of good, like a shadow is the absence of light. A dead body, she says, is a cadaver. You can call it a dead man, but not simply a man in the full sense.
So choosing evil is like choosing non-existence.
In a way, yes. To give yourself over to vice is to lose one's human nature. You become less than human, transformed into something beastly. She uses the myth of Circe turning Ulysses' men into pigs.
Ah, I know that one.
But crucially, Circe could change their bodies, but not their minds. Their human reason remained. Philosophy emphasizes that real strength, the strength of man, is within, hidden in the remote tower of the heart. Evil weakens that core.
Okay, so evil is weakness, but what about the punishment part? Why do bad guys seem to get away with it?
Here's another twist. Philosophy claims wickedness itself is the punishment.
The act itself is the punishment.
Yes, being vicious, being unjust, corrupts your soul, makes you inherently miserable, cut off from the true good, regardless of whether you get caught or enjoy external success. The internal damage is the real penalty.
Wrong.
And even more surprisingly, she argues, the wicked are happier when they are punished than when they evade justice.
Happier being punished.
Because just punishment, in her view, is actually a good thing. It's like medicine for the soul. It lessens the evil within them, the source of their misery, and potentially helps correct them. It's a chance for healing.
That completely flips the script on justice. It's not just about retribution, it's about restoration.
Exactly. Restoring the soul towards the good.
This is deep stuff. Okay, but it leads to that other massive question. If God knows everything, what about free will? Are we just puppets?
Right. If God foresees my choice, did I really freely choose it? This is where philosophy gets into the nature of divine knowledge.
How does she explain it?
She says our confusion comes from trying to understand God's knowledge in human terms, specifically in terms of time. We experience time sequentially past, present, future. We have foreknowledge of future events.
Right.
But God, being eternal, is outside of time. She distinguishes between providence, God's simple eternal plan or vision for everything, and fate, how that plan unfolds within time through cause and effect.
So God's view isn't like looking ahead in time.
No. She says God's knowledge isn't foreknowledge like ours. It's knowledge of a never-changing present. He sees all of time, past, present, future, simultaneously as eternally present to him, like viewing a landscape from a mountaintop, seeing the whole path at once, not just the bit you're currently walking.
Okay, I think I'm following. How does that solve the free will problem?
Because God seeing you perform an action doesn't cause you to perform it. If you decide freely to stand up and walk, God sees you walking in his eternal present. Your walking is conditionally necessary, meaning if you choose to walk, it's necessary that you are walking because it's happening and he sees it.
But the choice itself was still mine.
Precisely. The necessity is in the outcome known by God, not in the choice itself. Your decision wasn't forced by his knowledge. Therefore, she concludes, the freedom of the human will remains inviolate.
It's still real. Our choices matter.
Absolutely. And this has a huge implication. Hopes and prayers are not directed to God in vain, for if they are just, they cannot fail. Because our free choices and our turning towards the good have real weight in this divinely ordered yet free universe.
Wow, what a journey. From a prison cell, despair, to this incredibly intricate and honestly uplifting vision of reality.
It really is. Boethius basically built a roadmap for navigating life's storms, starting from the absolute worst circumstances imaginable.
He forces us to ask fundamentally different questions about happiness, doesn't he? To look inwards for strength, for freedom.
And to trust, perhaps, in a higher order of providential wisdom, even when the immediate events look chaotic or unjust from our limited viewpoint. It's truly a manual for resilience.
His final message seems to be one of action, too.
Yes, definitely. It culminates in this powerful call. Stand firm against vice and cultivate virtue. Lift up your soul to worthy hopes and offer humble prayers to heaven. It's not passive acceptance, it's active engagement with living virtuously.
And that idea that everything we do is done in the sight of a judge who sees all things.
Yeah, and maybe not just a judge in the punitive sense, but a witness who understands the whole picture, the full context of our struggles and choices within that larger, divinely guided reality.
So here's something to really think about, maybe as you go about your week. How might your perspective on things, on adversity, on injustice, even just the daily grind, how might it fundamentally change if you really leaned into Boethius's idea that all fortune is good?
Meaning that every challenge either tests virtue or corrects and punishes vice. What kind of, profound freedom, what kind of inner peace could that perspective offer you in your own life, facing your own unique challenges?
That's definitely a powerful thought to chew on.
It really is.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into Boethius's truly enduring wisdom.